Yo.
Hello, Altair.
Yeah.
How you doing, my
What
man?
was Brucey?
Yeah, how you doing?
Uh,
Nice to speak to you finally. Yeah, I'm alright, thank you, mate. I'm doing
cool.
alright. Now look, I'm just pulling into the town.
Yeah, on my way into town as well. Let's see what's the best area. I think the best place to meet up would probably. Whoa. Okay. Note: never pick up a call while driving. Not good. Not a good idea.
You need
Okay.
hands-free, man. You need
Yeah,
hands-free.
I really should. You'll see my vehicle. It's an old one. It doesn't have hands-free. Let's meet up at the vehicle dealership, and we'll head into my farm from there.
Okay, no worries, yeah. I'll check the map. I don't really know my way around, to be honest, but I'll check the
Uh,
map and I'll meet you there in a mo.
10-4. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, That must be him. Nice car, man.
Thank you very much. It's a bit of a workhorse though. Don't judge me on the
Yeah, I
paint.
can tell, man. It's a little beat up.
Don't judge me. It gets
No,
used a lot. It does a good job
dude.
for me.
You, you think I'd be one to judge? I'm driving around in a freaking Jeep here.
Yeah, that's a bit of a beast though, isn't it?
Oh, it is. I mean, this thing could. Not only can it haul, it can do off-road and everything. It's good. All right, so we'll
Nice.
head on over to my farm. I'll give you a bit of a tour of the place and show you where you'll basically be working.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Cool.
Right, you lead the way. I will
Roger
follow.
that. All right. Get the show on the road. I'm sorry, am I going too slow for you?
Yes.
Oh, jeez. All right, so we're technically on our property right now.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, this is pretty much what we got so far.
Yep.
Not much. Me and my buddy, unfortunately, he's not here today. Um, we pretty much had to start from scratch here. We had like literally nothing.
Really?
So one thing that I'm going to ask you to do is this. You can see the road got a little messed up when they built this for us.
Yep.
When the contractors came in.
Okay, so what do you want to do? You want to level this out a little bit?
Yeah, just make it so it's not as steep a hump right here.
Yeah.
Like try to
Yeah, I
level
can
out
do
a bit.
that.
Yeah. So there's that. Here's another one of my vehicles, by the way.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Beast.
Oh yeah. So this one doesn't seem to be working very good for me. I try, I try my best.
I mean, it does say you've got materials missing, by the way. I don't know if that's a good start.
Yeah, I don't know how this thing is supposed to work. So, I only have it set to potato, sunflower, and sugar beets. But I don't know, like what materials am I missing for this? I don't know.
So you've got... Just while we're here, let's have a look. Everything.
Yeah.
You're missing everything. So you need to put water and seeds into it.
Okay. Oh, so I have to get like actual seed?
Yeah, you got. So you'll have to, wherever your local dealership is, you'll have to buy the seed.
Okay, so I can easily do that while you're doing your
Yeah, definitely. And then we can
work.
check it out once I've finished doing my work for you. We'll check it out and make sure it's up and running. But yeah, you need to get water.
Yeah,
if you've got ways of doing that.
It's a little. I didn't even notice this. What the heck did these guys think they were doing?
It needs leveling out a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. If you could get this tree out of here as well.
Yep.
Both me and my buddy, we've tried. We just can't get it to disappear.
Yeah.
So, by the way, that's my buddy's truck, his Kraz.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, I tend to go with the allies. I don't know why, but he went with Russian. So, the area that you're mostly going to be working on is back here.
Yeah. You're fitter than me, I can't keep up. Too many Cornish pasties.
Yeah.
Okay.
As I said, you know, I came off doing my my military service, so yeah, this is the area that you're going to be working in. I'm thinking level it out, put up a large barn or storage in the back if you need to. I don't know how you're going to level it out, whether you'll raise everything to level it or lower things. I don't know.
We'll level it. I'll see.
Yeah.
That is a
I did
pretty
my.
big old shed as well, by the way. So we'll have a look.
Oh yeah. Well,
When I get
yeah,
closer to it, I'll give you a call.
okay.
We'll try and figure out.
I did my best to take away all the stumps from here. This whole area was just forest, so
yeah,
we did our best. We do have some branches still down here. If you want, I can bring the Kraz with the log trailer, and you can just load the stuff onto it. Oh, looks like
yeah, over here.
Yeah, looks like I missed a stump here. Hang on. Okay, this one does not seem to want to. Oh, there we go. There we go. So yeah, I think I got rid of all of them, but if you find one, you know, just take it out.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. So yeah, I will go and get the Kraz so you can load the lumber on, and then I'll go get the seed and probably water trailer.
Okay. The what you gonna put in this area? Because obviously your shed will be at the back of it. What's gonna go in front? Do you want me to gravel it or?
Yeah, if you can, just this strip of grass right here between the field and where the forest was,
Yeah.
leave it as the grass.
Yeah.
Because we sort of want that a bit of a border between you know, between the two areas.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to keep driving over your crops and everything.
Of course.
I'm going to give you a radio here, so you know that way we can keep in touch while I'm out and about.
Yeah, no worries, buddy.
All right, cool.
Yeah, no worries. Just one final question.
Yeah.
How much do you want me to spend? What is your budget? What have you allowed?
Figure it'll be about, I don't know, 150-ish, maybe the 200,000 that I've got.
Okay.
Because I know that the shed itself is already going to be like almost 2,000 on its own.
Yeah.
Landscaping shouldn't be too much, shouldn't cost too much. But you know, do your best.
Yeah. The only thing I'll say is you see this area here.
Where?
All of these just in front of us, all of these shrubs and things you've got here.
Yeah.
The only way I'm going to be able to remove those is to place grass. So in landscaping, when placing the grass,
or gravel over it.
That's right. Yeah. So that might have a bit of a cost to it. So I'll just let you know how I'm getting on.
All right, sounds good.
All right, but yeah.
I will see what I can do about getting some more quick money.
Yep, no worries, buddy.
Yep.
Okay then, right, so here we are. So we've just travelled up from our own place in Edgewater and come to Bloomfield, which is another area in Canada. And we're just going to work for Altair today, I guess. So a bit of a side business, you know, the landscaping thing is something I enjoy doing. And why not? A little bit of roleplay, a little bit of improvisation. Just going to support Altair with a bit of landscaping. So we've come onto his server. We've joined his farm. We've cruised up here in our own truck, as you may have seen right at the very beginning there. But we're just basically we're going to do a few things just to help him out, I guess. So Altair has got a series. He's just kind of started, I guess. He's quite a few episodes into it, I think, actually. But certainly views and things is something that he would like, and it's worth taking a look. So I will pop his at YouTube tag in the description. But this, to be honest, is kind of two things in one, I guess. Really, this is going to be just a different way of making a side earning, and that's by doing the task for someone else, I guess. which will go straight into our kind of landscaping kitty. The thing that I normally do off camera, I normally do those contracts off camera, just to try and make a little bit of money. For example, we've got that big track we want to do, a couple of little sheds we want to do, potentially, you know, change the pigsty. So there's quite a lot of things to get on with, and actually this is just a different way to earn a bit of side money. So he's going to pay me, not real money of course, but he's going to pay me kind of an in-game amount, which I'm going to then utilize in the Edgewater Saskatchewan series, just to try and get that kind of landscaping done, really. So good, exciting, bit different. If this kind of works, and I think it will, you know, I'll probably do it some more. Maybe I'll come back and I'll support Altair. Maybe if anyone else is playing and they want a bit of landscaping, a few tips maybe, I'll do the same thing. I'll go on, we'll kind of role play it a little bit, and you know, I'll earn some money from helping out someone else. So I like the sound of that. It's pretty good. So we're going to get straight on with it. I may, like usual, if I don't find anything interesting to talk about, which is highly likely, I may time lapse a little bit, but at the same time I may not. So we'll yeah, there's quite a bit that needs to be done in this area, and maybe if I do some talking, maybe it will help someone out. I guess maybe it will turn into a kind of a mini tutorial on landscaping. But first thing I can see here, so you want some help to level this out. Now what you do find sometimes, unless you have certain mods, so for example if you're a console player, you can't really edit too much land around something you've already placed. Now if you do make that error, the only real way to resolve it is to delete the placeable, level the area off where you think it needs to be leveled, and then replace it again. When you're a PC player, you can get obviously extra mods, third-party mods, like the Place Anywhere mod, which is the mod that allows you to kind of put buildings right next to each other, landscape anything you want. That's the kind of tool that I use to kind of create the garden centre, which I've done recently. Now I don't know if Altair has that mod installed. I'm not sure. I don't think he has, because I don't think it prompted me to activate it, so it may not allow me to do this. So I may just have to jump back into him in a moment and let him know. But the way to resolve this certainly would be to delete that placeable and replace it after we've done a little bit of modification to it. I will definitely recommend to him though, he should consider going for that Place Anywhere mod, because I know he is a PC player, as you can tell by the kind of various third-party mods. But what I'm going to do now is try and take this level ground away from this greenhouse. Hopefully it will allow me to do it. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And because we're taking that ground away, we can now kind of level this out a little bit further away, because it honestly, it gives you issues because you're too close to the placeable. So by doing that now, we can now kind of smooth off and round this area, which is pretty much exactly what he wants. I mean, I can see straight away that has already made quite a bit of difference. So we've gone from that kind of really big raise, that big lump in the ground, to actually pretty smooth. Now, I will at some point jump into normal gameplay and kind of test it, but I've done this so many times. You kind of learn from your mistakes when it comes to landscaping. I don't think there's a huge amount of... There's lots of videos on how to make things look realistic, but there's not a lot of kind of how-tos with regards to using the landscaping tool. Also, I need to check in with him and see how far he wants me to go, because if you've watched any of mine before, I do get carried away. Right, give me 1 second, he's calling me. Just to pre-warn you, what I'm going to have to do, it's not going to really cost any money, but you know your foil tunnel?
Oh, yeah?
So to level ground, you know the back of it, that whoever did it for you, they didn't level off the back too well.
Yeah.
What I'm going to have to do is deconstruct that foil tunnel to get into level the ground and then put a new one down. Now, that is probably the foil tunnels aren't expensive themselves, but it's going to cost you probably about £2.5 grand for me to rebuild that, just in the parts I damage when I take it apart. So
Yeah, understood.
just so that you're aware, but I can get it
Yeah.
nice and level for you. In fact, you're driving past right now, aren't you? So if you continue to drive and go down past the other end, hopefully you'll find that that big lump in the ground is gone.
Okay.
So that should be a little bit
Maybe if you
smoother.
can, get rid of this tree that's right at the end of my trailer, right? And
Yeah.
move the tunnel to like that strip of grass.
Yeah, I reckon I can do that. Have you got a chainsaw?
Yeah.
Ah, lovely.
Yeah, you
Right.
should be able to grab it out of the cabin.
Okay, so I've just checked in with Altair. So basically, this, as we were saying just a second ago, this, you cannot edit this area here now. It kind of locks it when you place something, probably because that's placed relatively close to the house as well. It's kind of locked it. You can't do a great deal of editing around here. In actual fact, though, in his series, he would prefer this to have been over here. Now, there was a tree right in the middle, and it's one of those, we did one very similar in the Saskatchewan series, it's one of the ones where as soon as you cut it, it disappears. The problem with that one was you could not find the sweet spot to actually cut it for it to disappear. So I've had to kind of landscape the land all around it down quite a lot, and eventually it's allowed you to get that little sweet spot, which has allowed me to delete it. So I've done that. So now I've done that, in actual fact he would have liked that foil tunnel to be over there instead. So we're going to delete it. I've pre-warned him. He's going to get £2.5 grand back for it. So we're going to replace it straight away. So £2.5 grand, but he's going to make his £5 grand. It's going to cost him £5 grand, sorry, to place it back down again. Now what I have done, you can kind of see when you place it. Let's see, it's not very level. Now that is a bit of a nightmare.
Loaded trailers I've ever hauled.
But it should, as long as we don't free place it, it should hopefully level that off. So we'll give it a go. There's only one way to find out. And it didn't quite do it properly, which is a bit annoying. So how are we going to get around that now? So what we'll do is, it's going to cost them a bit more money, but it's got to be right, isn't it? Do it. We know that this area here is the high point, which the game, for one reason or another, it's the way landscaping works, cannot lower. So what we need to do is make the rest of the ground that height. Now it does look like maybe for his kind of series he's got going on, maybe just because he probably knows what I'm like for spending money, it looks like he's put the free landscaping mod on, which is good. It's a good call, that is. It's a good call. Otherwise I would have spent his 200 grand pretty damn quickly. And I'm glad he's done that, because it means I can do it without worrying too much about what I am spending. So we've got the level. We know we've got the level. Yes, if you're a console player, it's wasted a little bit of money, but it's worth the money you waste. And to be honest, you can just get it back by popping down one of those subsidies. I learned recently, actually, that Mr. CDP, the way that he does it, is to kind of load the game up as a multiplayer, which then allows you to kind of almost freely select your money, because you have that secondary farm which you can transfer money to and from. You can obviously, if you run out of money to transfer, create a new farm, transfer all that money over, and then delete it again, and you can keep doing that, pretty much getting unlimited money. So it is something that is worth doing for definite. If you are a console player, but obviously for us it's irrelevant. We've got the easy dev tools anyway. But you know, his series he does is a bit of a role play. I don't want to ruin that by spending all of his money. So let's level this out now. What we'll do is we'll try and raise that out a little bit more, because actually when I place this greenhouse now that I've got the level and I know the level, I am going to free place it. I mean, it's V for me. I use controller for gameplay every day, but when it comes to landscaping, I switch back to the keyboard and I switch back to the mouse. It's just so much easier. If you have the luxury, why not use it? But let's level all of this out in the meantime. I can't really do a lot about the differences here. What I do find, another little kind of random tip, you may like it, you may not, but I do kind of flutter the flattening tool, the leveling tool. So if you level it to here, it will level everything at that height. If you level it slightly down the hill a little bit, it will level it at that height. And then I keep going down and down, so it will keep leveling, and it kind of slowly sort of levels out the ground. I mean, I'll kind of show you now. But what you can kind of do is kind of flutter it, make it almost level, and then just a quick go over it with the smoothing tool, and you get yourself a nice smooth area. So for example, this is just giving me the kind of basics, and it looks absolute rubbish. But as soon as you go over this now with the smoothing tool, again, you want to have loads of money to do this, because landscaping isn't cheap. But when you do go over it with the smoothing tool, all of a sudden that kind of harsh hill gets smoothed out into kind of a slow incline, which just works better. I will just quickly fix the problems he had with that before, which I'll just do with the smoothing tool. Great thing about smoothing tool is it doesn't remove the grass. As you can see, it did there when I did that bit of leveling. So smoothing tool doesn't remove the grass, but again, if he's got the mod that I think he's got on, the grass is free anyway in this case, but that's not the case for everyone. Right, okay, so that should have leveled that bit up a bit. That's one of those kind of, you'll never know how bad it is until you actually try it. But now let's jump back to the greenhouse, and we're gonna, it's pretty much, you can see by the value that it is quite cheap, but I'm gonna free place it because you can see through this one. If I put it there, you can see that the ground isn't level, therefore it's overlapping its growing spots. Just got to find the right place for it. Again, further away the better. So somewhere like that. Give him enough room because of those really annoying crates there on the left hand side, which I've hit many a times down in Saskatchewan. So we'll free place that right there. And we're just going to have to be a little bit hopeful that actually looks pretty good. We haven't got anything flying, like there for example. Tiny little bit flying. Now let me just get rid of that so it's not in the way. See that there? So again, if you're a console player, or in this case, probably won't allow us to edit that now. Because, well, I take it back, it is actually. But normally it won't. Normally you can edit that. It's kind of part of the placeable itself. To be honest, it's still slightly floating there. Ever so slightly. And normally you can edit that. If you're lucky, you can. And we were lucky. So that's good. So what we've just done, get rid of all of those juts. Just quickly flash over it with the smoother tool. Just gets rid of all of those kind of imperfections. Just don't hold it for too long. Again, I like to flutter the mouse about a little bit when I do stuff like that. So now, it doesn't look like it's floating. What I do, by the way, if it is floating a little bit and I can't get around it, just pop a little bit of grass down. Grass is really, really handy for hiding those annoying little bits that kind of don't look real. You know, it is all about realism, isn't it? So what I'll probably do, I'm just going to test it for him now. I always use the circle. I never use the square. Just going to see, does his monetary value get it? No, it doesn't. So that's good. That's given me free roam to kind of muck about with this now, really. So I'm going to, again, there's a small area there that you can see. It is raised, but it doesn't affect how it actually looks. Now, one thing I noticed with this map is it's very square. Everything does look very, very square. Like when you place it, I do prefer some maps. They give you a lot more kind of flexibility with how you place stuff. But this one is fun. When it's like this, you might as well use the square tool because it doesn't give you so many. Doesn't allow you to do so much of a curve on it, but it's fun. Still looks pretty good. So again, I might be getting a bit carried away again now, but let's try and get rid of this kind of random square look. We will jump back in. I don't know if you can hear me talking or if you can't hear me talking. I don't know. I'm not too sure. But I'm sure you can probably still hear him talking. I think he's talking to himself.
Are you kidding me?
But we all talk to ourselves, don't we? Right, let's try and round that off a little bit. I always like to get like the mud effect one, which is animal mud, or this particular map has a different version of animal mud. I like the sound of that. And I always cover the areas that look like they have water in a bit of mud. Stuff like that. Again, just adds to that kind of realism. Looks like someone's been using it. And maybe we'll do the same over here, just around that random bucket, which again I ran over so many times. That's ended up across the yard at some points. Okay, right, so I've just checked in with the main man, and we're going to try and figure out what we're going to do about this, really. So you've got a conflict here between this tunnel, which is where we wanted it to be. We've obviously leveled it with this area, but it's now quite a bit higher than this area. Now, if you were driving along here, for example, there's quite a slant. Doesn't always pick it up in landscape, but there's quite a slant in this section here. We need to do something about it, but because the mods are placed relatively close together, there's a big section of this you can't even landscape. So we're going to do something a bit different. We're actually going to make it like a 2-level type thing, and I think he'll like it. He may not like it, but I think he will. So we're going to level all of this out. And make this the kind of track which should take you up level with that. And we can obviously bring it down further. And we're going to do that kind of fluttering thing again, just to try and help us level it. Difficult to tell when everything is gravel, but it's kind of working. So we'll level this out. Jump to the smoothing tool. Give it a little bit of a smooth, just to get rid of those kind of bumps. You can see there's quite a big bump there now. And then we're going to level this off to the side. So this will be his kind of entranceway into the bottom section, I guess. So now all of a sudden it's going to be like a 2-level type thing.
Right. Let's swap this back
if his modification allows for the placing of fences for free, and I know you can get a mod that does do that for free, then what we'll do is we'll put like a funky fence along here. But certainly to kind of differentiate too, what I will do is change the texture of the gravel. In fact, potentially, let's see what it looks like with a bit of grass. Doesn't cost any money anyway, does it? So let's put grass, create like a bank. Sometimes it doesn't work that great on the smallest. You've got to flick up your size of your circle or your square. Definitely recommend the circle. Now you can see the kind of bank. And by the time we put some grass on that, that will look better. And we'll do the same again up here. So we'll jump back to sculpt him. Try and level this section out. Maybe we'll bring his path up a bit further, like over here, because that should be relatively level over there. So again, jump back. Let's pop the gravel in there now. So up slightly. Let's do his gravel track kind of along here. Like so. And then we'll do his grass section up a bit further. So maybe like up to there. Right, so we're going to look from the side. Again, you see what I mean? This section here, if I wanted to kind of level this off now, it would actually kind of make it almost square. Which is a bit annoying, but you just got to live with these things, I guess, haven't you? Right, let's try and level that out. So I think now, just by putting some grass, we'll finish it all off at the end with some bushes and things, but just by popping some grass in here now, you should find that actually it will look a little bit better. I think so anyway. I went a bit too far then, same with that, a bit too far. Just try and remove those bits. There we go. So I am going to jump out at landscape in a minute and have a look at it. Just got to been doing landscaping for so long, my Xbox controls turned off, so I'll just jump back over to the controller. And when it's loaded, any good? There we go. Right, so what do we got? So we do need to do a little bit more leveling here, because there's a couple of little bumps there which is no good. But this is the path, so this would be where he's kind of driving to his next area. But this area is actually down a level. I think that looks pretty cool. I think that looks alright. I think he's only just placed this actually, so he's not got too much experience with that greenhouse. But they do spawn here, we know that from the Saskatchewan series that's going on. They do all spawn along here, so it still gives them a little bit of access to kind of drive through. But I think he's got like a pallet truck kind of mod, which will allow him to move the pallets away from there anyway. So not too many issues around space, I don't think. Now what we will do, nearing the end of this, we will get an hour truck before we drive back to Edgewater and just make sure it's seeming pretty level. But certainly there, we need to do something there. Now one thing which always helps is move yourself away and move any vehicles away. So I'm just going to reverse it back a little bit. You'll probably come back and think, why on earth have I been driving his trucks around? But yeah, move anything you can. Placeables are placeables. Can't help the placeables. But you being here, for example, this will not allow me to do any landscaping within quite a big area, you know, potentially up to around this sort of area. I can't do any landscaping because your person is there. So just move everything. Move anything that's going to potentially be in the way. Right, now, you can straight away see that when you jump back to landscaping, you cannot see those bumps which you can see. So sometimes you do have to keep flicking between the two. But they're there. They're there somewhere. So we're kind of having to kind of guess it a little bit. But you can see again, I always like to do that kind of, I don't know if fluttering's the right word, but I don't like to hold it. I like to just flick the mouse button on and off until you kind of get a smooth, certainly a much smoother kind of outcome. Again, I'm just kind of fluttering the flattening tool, and then I'll go back over it with the smoothing tool, just to try and make sure we're getting it nice and level. So I'm hoping now that is a bit more level. And what we'll do while we're here, pretty much finished with this area now, I think, to be honest. We've done kind of what he wanted us to do. So we'll just make this path a little bit wider for him. And then we'll grass the rest of that area again. So I'll go a little bit wider so it doesn't take as long. Again, this is easier for me to do because I'm using keyboard mouse. Not everyone does have that luxury. I don't think actually consoles even allow you to plug mouses in. They let you do put a mouse in for certain games, but on this game I don't think it actually works. Now we've already tested it, so let's go plants. Again, even for placing grass, I do prefer to use the round tool. Just stick a bit of meadow grass in. Once we've done it, we'll zoom in. Another thing that I really like for realism, by the way, is don't put the grass right up to the edge. Perfectly in line with the edge. Overlap it a bit. Have it kind of on the road a little bit. Just takes away the sharp edges of certain maps. And it does help you when a map like this one is quite square. It helps you kind of level it off a little bit. So yeah, just a random little trick. Again, let's level that off like that too. Good, so that looks a bit better. Did we miss a bit there? Yeah, that'll be bothering me. Won't be able to sleep tonight if I don't correct that. Good, so that kind of looks a bit better. Same in that area. I'll just again, it's not costing them anything, so let's just do that too. Now, in actual fact, just while I'm here, the this open air greenhouse does not have anything along the back of it. Doesn't do anything. You put everything into this side, the water, the manure, the seeds, into here. Pallets all spawn here. Nothing comes from the back, nothing comes from that side. So let's just make it easier for him. Doesn't need that space, so I'm sure if you wanted it, he'll put it back in if he wants it anyway. But let's just level all of that, and we'll just make that grass. So other than maybe a little decorative path which we can put in fact we'll do that real quick. One thing I really like about this map is it gives you the extra kind of decals. Is that the right word? It gives you the extra kind of landscape and textures, I guess. I do wish that the Edgewater map had that. I do wish that my roleplay map, the Valley Spring map, also had this, but it doesn't. But there you go. Just a little kind of side path there, I guess. Not that you'd ever use it, but it just looks good, doesn't it? Right, let's jump that a bit bigger. Same again, overlap your paths a little bit, just looks a bit more real. Pretty good. Right, make that really small. Stick a bit in there. Make it look like a bit of a garden path.
You know what?
Let's do the same here. Actually, you'll probably want, same again. Might get a bit carried away, but let's stick a bit of detail in for him. So, I always like to have a little bit of kind of watery, muddy texture around the area which would have that. I think that's good. And let's go for a slightly different texture. Of course, won't allow me to do it. So a little area like that, and then we'll just round the mud off, because actually this is going to be the main. More important to have this kind of open area this side than it is the other side. Yeah, so that's a bit better. And I'll just flick odd little bits of gravel into it, just so it kind of looks like a continuation of that bit of road. Yeah, I like that. I don't really put too much thought into that because we just want it to look like the gravel is kind of dragged across into this area. So like that is fine. Okay, good. So you probably noticed there I've actually moved my character because he was standing here somewhere and it was stopping me leveling this area out all the way over there when my guy was kind of here. So you do need to move stuff out of the way. It's really important, it just helps a lot. Right, so this area is pretty good, to be honest. So all I'm going to do is just pop in the occasional bush. I just find that bushes are pretty good. Sounded like a bit of an innuendo, but I didn't mean it that way. It's just good to have a nice big bush dotted around your land, isn't it? Right, same again, over here. Like to vary the sizes, just kind of randomly place them, to be honest with you.
need a...
It's amazing how much more realistic it feels just by placing the odd bit of decorative around. I mean, look at that. Doesn't that look different now? Just by doing that. Good. My favourite of all is the biggest bush. Absolutely. Yeah, look at that. That's great to have a really big bush. Okay, right, we're done with that. This is the bit I am really glad he's got that landscaping tool activated though, because the only way you can do this, so many people actually ask, I see it online a lot, these kind of twigs and shrubs, and they're a pain because you can't plough them, you can't just paint them, they are a pain to get rid of, they are a nightmare. The way to do it is to overwrite these with grass. So as you place grass, you can see there, they are actually deleting from underneath it. So the ground texture isn't changing, but that kind of really annoying kind of, I mean, it's not annoying, I like it because I think it looks super real, but the foliage is vanishing. So I'll just do that little area as a tester, and then go over it with your painting. So if we just use a random grass texture for a minute, and all of a sudden, you've got nothing there. So it's nice and clear. Now if you paint over with a grass texture over the shrubs, it will give you the grass texture, but it will not get rid of any of these sticks. They're there, they don't go away, and they'll stay there forever. You plough that, they'll still be there. You just plough straight through it. So it's annoying, and I see so many people, and I do in various different groups and things, I do kind of comment and let people know the kind of trick of it, but see, it's one of those annoying things that we've done all of that, yeah, it's all in the way. You just gotta plant the grass. Okay, right, wow. I don't think I've time-lapsed a great deal of it, if I'm honest. I found some things to talk about as while I was doing it, which makes a change. I normally time-lapse when I can't think of a thing to say, but we're done now, so a bit of a different episode. Actually quite a cool way of earning a bit of side income, I guess. That landscape kitty is building up. Quite interesting to know if anyone is watching. I'm sure Altera's got a rough idea of how much he thinks would be good to pay me. You know, that money goes straight into the landscaping fund. But let me know really if you are watching it, if this has been interesting. How much money should I add? It's kind of a bit of a side income really. But yeah, I'll just give you a quick tour around it. So this is the area here. Obviously, the beginning of the greenhouse was here. We've moved it, had a few kind of issues with the landscaping, so we've deleted it, moved it completely, leveled the area off first and then placed it. Actually looks pretty cool. This area here was already placed. He just recently placed this, I think he said in one of his last episodes. Not even actually grown a single bit of product out of it yet, he's not had it long enough. So we've just kind of leveled that off, made it look a bit more realistic, because you know it's all about realistic in my eyes anyway, so I think that looks pretty cool. We are currently just kind of randomly flying around the map, but that looks cool. I quite like that. I do quite like that. And then we'll head on up here. So in this section over here, I've got it on super running speed, so I'll try and keep control. Follow the road up here. There's the good old pickup truck. We definitely need to get that resprayed at some point. Absolutely. In fact, Altair was saying something about being able to respray it for us as part of the deal, so maybe I'll hold him to that. Maybe we'll get him to do a bit of a paint job on it. It's part of our payment for doing all of this. Now this area here, I haven't done a great deal for him, to be honest with you, because you know this is all part of his story. He's kind of got plans of what he wants to do. So, but all we kind of did in this area is delete all of that, got rid of the last few, maybe 5 or 6 tree stumps that he had missed, and it's difficult to spot them when all of that shrubbery was in the way. But deleted those off, leveled it the best I could. There are restrictions again, just like there's restrictions on everything. You can kind of see as you go along, there's little bumps in the ground There's another one just there, look. And these are essentially where the tree stumps were. And the game just has a thing about, you know, it almost locks the landscaping around where you used to have tree stumps. I don't know why, because on PC you download the Place Anywhere mod, it lets you do anything. So it must just be a scripting thing maybe. I can imagine that's quite annoying for console players. Yeah, it's a big lump right there. And you can see that even bigger one over there. Can't do anything about it. And that is actually the reason why I've had to kind of raise this up a little bit to get this in. Another big lump right there. That's why this is a little bit higher now, because if you try and lower that anymore, you get the odd random dips in the ground. In fact, there is one right where he's reversing now, and he's now experiencing that, because there's one right there. Can't do anything about it. Sometimes you just got to kind of deal with what you got. But yeah, nice shed place there, which was his kind of ultimate final goal. He jumped in and placed that himself. I didn't want to affect his story too much by putting it in the wrong place. So he looks good. He's obviously got a plan, and we'll see what he gets up to, I guess, in the next couple of episodes. But for here and now, we're pretty much done. So yeah, if you're watching, hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you want to, give me some suggestions about how much money I should be adding into that landscape fund. But for a minute, well, I think I'll end the episode here actually. I was going to drive home back to Edgewater, but I'll have to see if I can hold Altair to his offer of a little bit of paintwork. It'd be great if he can do something just to make this truck look a little bit better, because it is not looking great anymore. Not at all. But in the meantime, I guess that's it. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. And yeah, I will catch you again soon. Cheers, gone.